intention to upset the Soviet Union. 9-8-2-5 on the first for Amy.
Amy is a very intense competitor. She's a great kid. If you start talking to her, she breaks into a big smile. Very, very friendly, but when she is on the floor, she is tough and she concentrates to the fullest extent of her ability, and it really shows in her performance. To improve on this vault, better on the horse. It's actually a better vault. Of course, there was a hop on the landing, but she got better position on the horse on this second vault and was able to push a little bit harder.
How do the judges reconcile themselves to that? Do they go for the better position on the vault, or do they go for the landing?
It's hard to say. It will probably balance itself out. We'll see if she gets any more height on the vault. It was almost equal to the other one. So I would guess that the other one will score a little bit better. The vault goes so quickly. The judges don't have what we have, instant replay and slow motion. We can look at it over and over again to see the deductions and see what is good about the vault.
But she knows she already has a 9-8-7, rather 9-8-2-5 in the bank as she waits the second. There's something Bela Karolyi does all the time. If you watch gymnastics, he's a constant pacer, trying to look at the scores, trying to keep his young women settled down. Here comes the score, 9-8. 3-7. So it is better.
They thought it was a little bit better. I thought the vault was better. It just all depends on what the judges, because they sit at a different angle. They're down below the level of the floor.
Betty Okino, surprisingly good performer.
Another Yurchenko with a full twist, little step on the landing. Of course, that's what she will try and correct on her second vault. There's a very nice vault in the air. Good twist, good position. You'll see she's right on top of the horse, right where she wants to be. She might want to try and get a little bit more rotation off the horse and into the twist. She kind of twists a little bit early here.
She had that 9-9 on the balance beam.
You'll see several of the gymnasts do this vault. When Kim Zmeskal comes up, you'll see she opens up out of the twist and flares, makes the landing a little bit easier to stick.
Now, these are the standings, remember, after the second rotation. 9-8-0 for Betty on her first vault, and here's her second.
Oh.
Almost.
A step forward. Again, almost the same vault this time. She was trying to stick. She was making the corrections.
All right.
She had over-rotated the first one a little bit and stepped back, so she tried for the stick and had to step forward.
Now, as we see the 9-8-3-7 by Amy on her first, and Betty had a 9-8-0 on her first. Remember, the American women have to average 9-8-8-7 to tie the USSR after 3 rotations.
One thing you have to say about this American team, they're fairly inexperienced in international competition, and they're doing a heck of a job here, particularly Betty Okino, Amy Shearer, going up first and second on every event. It's a tough position to start your team off. It's a lot of pressure. They have to try and set the pace and set that base score as high as possible so that the others can build on it.
At the moment, Betty's waiting her second score, 9-8-0 on the first. To follow will be Sandy Woolsey, and Kim Zmeskal will be the anchor. Sandy is a Desert Devils, her club, out of Tempe, Arizona. Not a Karolyi product. Now Betty, a Karolyi product, awaits the score, as do we. When it comes down to those uneven parallel bars, the Americans are doing extremely well. And in the final rotation, the Americans will be on the unevens, and the Soviets, who will go last, will be on the ball.
When Bela was afraid that because of Kim's injury that she might give away a 10th or 2 because of a little bit of pain in her wrist, he honestly thought Betty would step in there and really take up some of the slack and be one of the leaders of this team.
Well, this is an inordinately long time here, Kathy, for a second vault.
Let's show it.
It's hard to say exactly what the judges are conferring about. The reason is sometimes quite lengthy. There is a problem with language down there.
Well, she is back up like she's going to take yet another ball.
I have no idea.
So this will be her second vault. What happened on the first vault, we'll have to wait and try to get from the floor. But there was a long time. She was seated, as you saw, and now she's been told she's got to go again.
The only thing I can think may have happened if she had gone before the green light went on, or if one of the judges inadvertently put the green light on and she went ahead and vaulted and none of the judges were watching. But this is all just guessing from our point of view.
That's her number 302. Bella looking and Betty waiting.
Those are some of our American judges.
What kind of pressure does that put on? Does that mean anything at all to Betty, the fact that she's just standing there this length of time, or does this just go with the territory?
It's some pressure for her, obviously, but she does have a score in the bank.
Which is 980. Bella's walking across to the judges.
She went before the green light.
That's right.
She got a 0. She had 2 vaults. Okay, what has happened, and it's what I was afraid of, and this is inexperience with a new competitor in international competition. You must wait till the green light goes on to perform your vault. If you don't, it's a 0. So I don't know what they're going to do with it.
Well, Bella's walking back up to Betty now with the explanation. Maybe we'll be able to hear.
No. The first was good enough. All right.
Okay.
That's it. The first vault was good enough. The 980 goes into the bank.
It's really sad to see this, and I'll tell you why. The United States lost a bronze medal in Seoul due to a technicality and a rule. And whether the rules, you can say it's a stupid rule or it's not, but it is a rule, and you have to know them, you have to be aware of them, you have to inform the gymnast of the rule.
Oh, now we go back to Sandy Woolsey of the Desert Devils in Tempe, Arizona, and her first vault.
This is something that was always enforced to us. Do not go before the green light.
Woolsey and Zemeska will have to do very well if the United States is to stay even with the Soviet Union or fall to second.
Sandy's very capable with this vault. However, her back must have been hurting her throughout the competition. Watching her in the workouts yesterday and in the warm-up today, she just doesn't look as sharp as I've seen her look, say at the trials or at the World Championships. And of course, the recent American Cup. She was much cleaner, much sharper there.
They still have Betty Okino's number, competitor's number, on the scoreboard for the vault. Now, what is going on now, I'm not quite sure, Kathy. But
well, the red light is on, so Sandy knows better. She's not going to go, and she's not going to go until they change the number.
They've just put up the 0 on the second vault for Betty Okino. That's what they're waiting for.
Of course, a hush from the audience.
Because there's been no explanation yet to the audience here.
And there won't be until they go home and watch the taped telecast, and they'll find out. But it's just a rule that all the competitors down on the floor know.
Pressure on Sandy Woolsey. You can hear her colleague saying, "Come on, Sandy."
She also performed a Yurchenko with a full twist. I've seen Sandy do that vault better, so I know she can improve on that. She was a little bit short on the horse, meaning too close to the board side of the horse. Makes it a little bit harder to get the proper push off. So if she can get up on top of the horse.
But land it. Stay forward and don't let yourself move. That counts now. We've got to have a score here. Let's go now.
Stormy Eden knows the story here. You cannot give away the deduction right here on the landing. It's the last thing the judges see. Here's what I was talking about. She's a little short on the horse. It makes her almost gain her back toward the horse.
And you heard what her coach Stormy said. We need a score here. The Americans desperately want to not only medal, but try to upset the Soviet Union, which is indeed a larger order. 9.675 for Sandy on her first. Needs to do much better.
In order to try and beat the Soviet Union, you need 9-9. We've seen Sandy score that on this ball. Good in the air. A little bit better on the landing. A slight step right there, but definitely a better ball.
While we're waiting for that score for Kim Zemesko, let's go quickly to Hannah.
I'm here with Karen Wisen, the technical director here of gymnastics. Karen, can you clarify for us again the 0 score of Betty Aquino on the vault?
Yes, she went before the red light was off. She must only begin vaulting when the green light goes on. She went during the red light, and the rules say that that is a 0.
And she did have a 9-8 on her first vault, so that will stand?
That will stand.
So all she misses is a chance to improve upon that?
Yes, she misses a chance to improve upon her 9-8.
Thanks, Karen. Again, Betty Aquino, a lack of international experience. It was probably a little bit evident on that mistake. Back to Jim.
Thank you, Hannah. And our Kathy Johnson had that in the bank also as we wait for Sandy Woolsey's second mark. The American team hoping it's better than 9-6-7-5. And here comes the score. It's 9-7-6-2. And that'll leave it strictly up to Kim Zemesko to kind of edge it up a little bit. Kim has been, well, with the bursitis and the tendonitis, she has been quite something to see.
Kim is dynamite on this event. She's very capable of a big score here. She does a beautiful position at the end of the full twist. She flares open. Right here, opens the on step. Oh, big step on the landing. She usually sticks that ball. Fortunately, this is the team competition. Competition 1B rules, so the gymnast can perform the same vault again.
Good extension.
Best of the 2 vaults counts.
And hold that. Calm, because that's got to be a vault, okay? Okay, calm, go back slow, and come strong again. Now let's see. Don't forget, press your toes down, too.
Good position in the air, beautiful flare out. Pike down too much. Got her feet way too far underneath her and had to take that step backward. As you listen to Bella give her the final comments going into her second vault, this is when Bella is at his best. He can motivate these kids, get them pumped for competition. And I promise you it's why Mary Lou stuck her vault in 1984, because I've never seen Mary Lou stick a vault before. And when she needed to, she did.
9-8-7-5, but Bella and Kim want better than that.
Fortunately, with a pretty good score, 9-8-7-5 on that first vault, she's set herself up for a 9-9 plus if she sticks the vault.
Can't wait for the all-around tomorrow night. It's a team competition, and let's watch Kim. Yeah.
Light hop. It looked like she had the stick. It actually probably will score a little bit better. A hop is always better than a major step.
Real fast ball. Go for that one. Real fast.
Big crowd here tonight watching Kim Zemesko and teammates try to challenge the USSR.
Will be easier to see from this position. Yeah, lands a little bit too far forward, but it's good to see a gymnast make the proper correction. She had piked down too much on the first one. She tried to lay it out and go for the stick and just had to hop forward.
9-9-1-2. Kim Zemesko does do better. Soviet Union, though, is now in the lead with 1 rotation to go. 88.848 to 88.735. Back to Larry King.
Thank you, Jim. If you just joined us, our expert commentators tonight ain't bad. They are Nadia Comaneci and Olga Korbut, 2 great Olympic champions, viewing the goings-on. By the way, a final in basketball. Yugoslavia beats the Soviet Union 84-78. Yugoslavia advances to the final gold medal round Sunday. The United States plays Brazil shortly. You'll see that game. The winner plays Yugoslavia. What do you think of the... You were remarking, Nadia, as she went up, that the landing here is very important. What we're going to see when the feet hit, right? Now, you said that would be a 9-9. Why?
I said, yeah, 9-9 or 9-8-7-5. Because she made a little mistake at the end.
You're supposed to land perfect?
Yes.
How can you not move your foot when you land?
If you do technical correct, the vault, the
Your feet, you'll land
yes,
perfect.
you will land perfect.
Do you agree? You got to land perfect?
Конечно, доскок должен быть обязателен. И здесь ее оценка 9,9.
Well, yes, you must step in a very proper manner, but I thought it would be 9.9 as well.
Но прыжок сам по себе был выполнен очень чистенько.
But the jump itself was very clean.
I'm going to ask you in a moment how well they judge the judges judging, whether they guess well for themselves. When we come back, we're going to see more of U.S. gymnast Kim Zmeskal of Houston, Texas. There you see Kim. Before all this twisting and flipping started, Kim now is age 14. We'll be back with the 1990 Goodwill Games from Seattle. I'm Larry King with Hannah Storm and Nick Charles. Stay right there.
People keep asking me how it...
Let's get right back out to
Soviet Union, which trailed at the end of 2 rotations, now leads. And here's Amy Scher, and the United States is now on the uneven parallel bars.
And I said earlier, Amy has really done a terrific job being the lead-off batter for the Americans on each event. It's a nice Ginger. Giant swing, front giant, good back giant, and a pike double back dismount. She had 1 major release move in there. Many of the top gymnasts are now doing 2 and 3. Didn't have anything spectacular necessarily in the event, but very, very strong, very clean, good start-off routine for the Americans. There's her release move. It's called a Ginger. Made famous by Eberhard Ginger, a West German male gymnast who invented the move. The front giant, right into a back giant. Here's her dismount. Pike. Oh, front giant. Back giant. Here's her dismount. A pike, double back dismount. Nice height. You can see it's level with the high bar. One of the things the judges are trying to look for. All the releases should be caught level with the high bar, and the dismount should be done at the level of the high bar as well. They're looking for that amplitude.
9-8-0. And while the Americans try to get the gold or the silver, the Chinese are on the floor in the floor exercises trying to challenge for the silver as well. Now Kim Zmeskal, and she is so good in so many events, but Kathy, you point out this is not her best.
This is definitely Kim's weakest event, but it's far from a bad event for Kim. I have seen her have a little bit of trouble with the release moves in some competitions. We'll take a look at them here. Here's her first one. Front giant, sets it up to a Jaeger front. Perfect position to catch the bar, not as high as the other release moves that we've seen. Second release move, reverse hecht. Again, she has just
How about that?
good landing. Beautiful dismount. But as I was saying, on those release moves, she just has ample height.
Her sight is in the heel. Tendonitis in the wrist.
That you have to break your head to go to it, huh? I know. That's all.
Here we say it is not her best event, and it is not, but look at what she's done.
Here's that first release move. She does a Jaeger front and a perfect regrasp. Really, all that she would need to improve this is to try and get the amplitude on those release moves. She has enough difficulty. It's her second release move. It's called a reverse hecht or a Tkachev. And the judges are looking for the regrasp to occur with the shoulders level with the bar, so that the gymnast gets credit for that difficulty. But the dismount was extraordinary. Beautiful position in the air, and of course, what a landing.
While we wait for, well, here comes the score now. 9-9, warm 2. 9-9, warm 2 for Kim Zmeskal. The team gold, silver, and bronze are still up for grab, but don't forget that all around tomorrow night. Come back, we'll see how this turns out in a moment. Back to Larry King.
And just for your information, Nadia and Olga both gave Kim a 10 on that last performance. Okay, folks, big basketball game coming up. The Brazilians and the offensive machine, Oscar. His name is Oscar Schmidt, but everyone says Oscar, against the young team of American collegians. We'll be joining it as soon as possible. The winner goes to the gold medal. The game is 30 minutes away. More gymnastics coming up. Stay right there. I'm Larry with Olga and Nadia. We're all old friends. By the way, ice hockey starts tomorrow, so too boxing tomorrow afternoon. We're at the International Broadcast Center, our continuing coverage of the 1990 Goodwill Games. We're in beautiful Seattle. The women's gymnastic competition is down the road a piece in Tacoma. Let's check in there now with Jim Simpson. Jim?
All right, Larry, and Betty Okino has just turned in a 9.937 as the third American competitor on the uneven parallel bars, and Sandy Woolsey followed up with a 9.90. Now let's go back in time to China, also in the race for the silver. This is Li Li, 15 years old, out of Guangdong province, on tape on the floor.
And she had a fall on her first tumbling pass, a full twisting double back. China, just like the Soviet Union, is very beautiful on the floor exercise, very clean movement. But they're not as strong in the tumbling, just not as powerful. Whip back, boot or double twist. They lack very much in the same difficulty. I spoke to the Chinese coaches. They sent 3 of their top juniors, so this is China's future right here. They're really hoping to groom them for 1992 in Barcelona. And what better place to do it than the Goodwill Games 2 years before the start of the Olympic Games. Finishes with a double back. Good landing. As you can see, as I said, they just don't have the same power or difficulty in their tumbling.
And that is their final floor exercise, and one of the reasons why the United States seems almost a cinch to take at least a silver. And moments ago, we told you Sandy Woolsey also had a good performance on the unevens, and here is that performance.
Americans really did well on the uneven bars, and Sandy is one of the best on this event. Nice high reverse hex. Prepares for her dismount sequence. A half in, half out. It's a full twisting double back flyaway. One of the most difficult dismounts done on the uneven bars now, and done so well. Boy, that put a smile on her face. She's had a little bit of trouble on some of the other events. I think her back's been bothering her some, but what a way to finish for her.
She was first in the national championships, and she turned in a 9.9.
That was a good fight. Great team effort. Great team
Nice effort.
While we await the replay, in the vault, the Soviet Union, their final rotation will need 9.8786 to tie, and about a 9.9 average to beat the United States. That's ballpark figures.
Here's that big release move. Nicely done by Sandy. Showing the requirements, moving from bar to bar. And her dismount, as I said, one of the most difficult done today. Used to only be done by the men off the high bar. A full twisting double back dismount, just that one step on the landing.
Well, the Soviets are up in their final rotation. They've got to average 9.8786 to tie the USA, 9.9 to win it. We'll see when we come back. Here's Larry.
Thanks, Jim. We're going to make a hop, skip, and a jump out to Houston, and there we are again with our young ladies at Bella Caroli's gym, and their coach is James Holmes. How's the action gone, in your opinion, so far, Jim?
Oh, the Americans are doing very well. All the girls are hitting their routines and showing good, strong, competitive spirit.
And Kim's performance with the injury?
Oh, she's done great, outstanding. You know, more than you can ask from Kim, you know, to come in without 100% preparation, having an injury, and mentally coming in and leading the team, you know, with the most dynamic routines and getting the highest scores for the team.
Thank you all very much. Continued success, James.
Oh, thank you, and the kids appreciate your support in the Goodwill Games.
Our pleasure. Say goodbye, kids.
Say goodbye, children.
Bye. Bye, guys. Future Nadias and Olgas. We're following women's gymnastics, and right now, coming up soon, tales of survival in men's basketball. The United States goes against Brazil. The winner gets to play Yugoslavia for the gold. That game is going to start in 22 minutes.
The United States has done its work for the evening. Their competition of the team championships is over. Now it's up to the Soviets to win the gold or fall back to the silver. And one of the American stars, Kim Zmeskal, is with our Hannah Storm.
Thanks, Jim. Here with Kim Zmeskal, the best all-around performer for the United States. First, Kim, we were all worried about your wrist. Were you worried about it? How does it feel right now?
Well, the doctor told me that, you know, it can't get any worse. It's not dangerous to go and compete. It'll still have pain, but, you know, there's no risk, really.
Did it hurt while you were competing? Did you think about that at all?
Well, it hurt a little bit, but once I got out there, it's like that was the last thing that I was thinking about.
I know that you beat Kalinina earlier this year. Did that give you any sort of confidence against the Soviets, or do you even think about them when you're out there?
Well, you can't really think about, you know, the other performers there because they're not going to have anything to do with your scores, and you don't have anything to do with theirs.
What about being here in Seattle? This is a terrific crowd. Does it really pump you up when you're out there?
Yeah, I really like the crowd. I think it's easier to compete when there's a whole bunch of people behind you.
What about your individual performance tonight? Where were you the happiest with?
My bars, definitely. That's been my weakest event, and I just went in. I didn't have very much time to think about it since I came right from the vault, and that's the one I was happiest with.
Terrific. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Kim. Thanks. Jim?
All right, Hannah, and Tatiana Lysenko has already had her first vault, and it is a very good vault. 9-9-1-2, better than the average that the Soviet needs to turn in to retain the gold that it won in 1986. And this is Lysenko, and this will be her second vault. But she's already got that 9-9-1-2 in the bank.
The Soviets are also very strong in this event. Yurchenko laid out with a full twist, and boy, you can hardly do it any better than that. Beautiful position in the air, legs perfectly straight, perfectly together.
Perhaps an even better score than the 9-9-1-2 she got on the first vault. Young Soviet women following in the footsteps, or maybe even showing the way to the Soviet men. They are so good.
This is trademark Soviet style. Perfect form, perfect landing. She has an unusual arm swing on that hurdle, but it doesn't hurt her at all.
From down on the Ukraine, Tatiana Lysenko, 15 years old, and
9.962.
That's even better. So they're already ahead of the average they must need to retain the gold.
I wonder if the Soviets could have predicted that it would come down to vault, because I was very surprised at the girls they selected to go ahead and compete here at the Goodwill Games, but the ones that they chose not to use were having problems on vault. So they probably made a good choice.
Natalia Kalinina.
Another Yurchenko full. Slight little stumble step there at the landing. Now she also performs this vault with a double twist. I don't know if she's going to perform that here for her second vault. My guess is she will try and improve on the full twist and go for the stuck landing rather than the more difficult vault.
China has already completed its rotation tonight. They were going for the bronze, remember, and they still have an outside chance for, nope, I think they're going to wind up with the bronze. The question really is the gold and the silver.
And see, Jim, that is really good for the Americans. They have not beaten the Chinese lately. They were fourth to them at the recent World Championships in Stuttgart. So that's a tremendous accomplishment here at the Goodwill Games.
Kalinina, her second ball.
Oh!
They just get better.
Just when I think you can't improve on the ball, they improve on the ball. It's absolutely beautiful. And boy, that put a smile on her face. It's usually business as usual for the Soviets, but she even liked that. Look at the form in the air. Toes pointed, and just drops it in for a great landing.
One more 9-9 by either Chuvasitna or Boginskaya, and the Soviets will have wrapped up the gold.
It's one thing the Soviets are very good at. When they need the big scores, they can come up with them.
9-9, 6-2 for Kalinina. Well, this is what they needed to do, and we knew they could do it. Here's Oksana Chusovitna. Excuse me.
For many of the other teams, 9-9s are the exception. Soviet, it's usually the rule. Handspring front pike with a half twist, a dynamite vault.
Chusovitna just follows in the footsteps of Kalinina and Lysenko on the vault.
She is one of the more powerful Soviets on the team at this time. Good block off the horse, nice position. Fighting for those landings. They obviously know what it's going to take to win the gold here. This is a beautiful vault. Very difficult and very nicely done.
Soviets won all the gold medals in the 1986 Goodwill Games. And Chusovitna has done her share. She is awaiting her score, and should she get better than a 9.712, she has tied the United States, meaning the Soviet team has tied the United States. If she gets that 9.9, no, 9.875, and you can almost put that gold right back where everybody thought it would belong at the end of the evening, on the Soviet team's shoulders.
To show you how far both men's and women's gymnastics has come in the United States, at the 86 Goodwill Games, only one gymnast won a medal. It was a bronze medal, Joyce Wilburn, on the vault. And now look at all the medals already won by our men's team.
They always do better with their encore. Chusovitna has an outstanding second vault, and that just about wraps up everything for the Soviet Union tonight. And that's something to say. That about wraps it up when you've got the world champion as the anchor, and she's not even needed, Boginskaya.
What can you say? I wish I had a nickel for every time I said perfect in this broadcast, but so many of these routines and these skills were done so near perfect. You can always find flaws when we look at it in slow motion, but this is as close as it gets, people. Nice push off the horse. Keep in mind, she's doing a very difficult vault.
Awaiting her score, and next up is Svetlana Boginskaya, the world champion who won the golds in every single event of the European Championships this year. But she fell tonight in her first rotation, the uneven parallel bars, and so it is probable we will not see her tomorrow night. Almost sure thing, because she will not have qualified for the all-around 9.987. Chusovitna turns in a 9.987, the best vault of the evening. And here comes the anchor, just to show you what the Soviets can do. Here she is, the world champion, Svetlana Boginskaya.
A beautiful gymnast, very poised, very experienced. Also the Olympic champion on this event. This is Yurchenko with a full twist.
Up.
Tiny step on the landing. I never even saw her do that in workout. She was working on a different vault, the same one Chusovitna just performed. She has nice position from the board to the horse. Good position in the air, going for that stuck landing. Boy, it sure looks like that right ankle is very tender. She has it heavily wrapped. I saw it in the workout area. It sure looked like she was favoring that on the landing. Looked a little bit painful.
The gold belongs to the Soviet Union. The silver, the USA, as the men did. China finishes third. And here's the final vault in the final event of the evening for the winning Soviet team. the world champion. 9.912 for her first vault.
And even though Svetlana won't qualify into the all-around finals, we will definitely see her again on Sunday in the event finals. Performing the same vault. Going for that stick. Oh! Slide hop on the landing.
It is all academic because the Soviets have won the gold, Kathy, and while we await the score, you're very happy that the USA has defeated China because it's the first time they've done that lately.
Exactly. Tremendous boost for USA Gymnastics because the Chinese have a very strong program, and to beat them this close to the Olympic Games 2 years away.
But the standard is still set by the USSR. They are the winners of the gold again. Anna Storm?
When we come back, we'll have another visit with the Voyager. We'll have our remaining moments with Nadia and Olga, and of course, men's basketball. The United States, do or die. They beat Brazil. They play for the gold medal. They don't. Their history. Also, Steve Largent. Where's he going to be? Weightlifters and square dancing and ice hockey tomorrow and boxing. We'll be back with it all. Don't touch the clicker.
Back at the Tacoma Dome, where for the second weekend in a row, the Soviet Union has won the team championship. For the second weekend in a row, the United States is second. Well, we saw Boginskaya, Kathy, at the end on the vault not do as well as her competitor, her teammates, her colleagues. But it all started out when, incredibly, she fell in the uneven parallel bars and is out of the all-around championship.
Very uncharacteristic of Boginskaya. The reason she is world champion and a European champion is because of her consistency. She had problems on the uneven bars, missed a release move called a reverse hex. And of course, one of the most difficult things for the Soviets to do is to qualify for the all-around finals because they have to beat out some of their Soviet counterparts.
On the other hand, we went into Kim Zmeskal, and she said afterwards to Hannah that she was thrilled with the event. On the other hand, we're saying this was not the best event for Kim Zmeskal, but she got a tremendous score.
Now, it's always so exciting to, not on your best event, to hit like this and come up with a big score. And it's a relief to Kim. Like I said, she has missed this event before.
Well, I can hardly wait till tomorrow night and the all-around. But for now, hats off to the Soviet Union and hats off to the American and Chinese. Let's go down to Hannah Storm.
Thanks, Jim. Well, I talked to both of the coaches after the competition. Understandably, they were ecstatic. They say that in their recent memory, maybe even in the not-so-recent memory, this is the closest that the Americans have ever been to the Soviets in a major international competition. When you consider that last year a lot of these girls were juniors, when you consider that both Kim and Sandy were at about 90% coming to this competition, you got to be really happy with the consistency that the Americans displayed. Again, going into the individual all-around tomorrow, it will be the best all-around performer here tonight at the Tacoma Dome, Kim Zmeskal, along with Betty Aquino. That's the story from the Tacoma Dome. Larry?
Thanks, Hannah. We're back again at the International Broadcast Center in our wind-up moments with the two most famous gymnasts of all time, Olga Korbut and Nadia Comaneci. We'll get a comment or two from each. Nadia, were you impressed with the United States' performance tonight, beating China?
Yes, I was very impressed. This is a good result for the United States, and I'm happy for the gymnasts and for Bella also.
Does the United States have a chance tomorrow night in the all-around?
Yes, I think that they have great chance tomorrow, and also Kim Zmeskal. I think that she will be the star tomorrow for all-around.
You do. And Olga, were you happy with the Soviet performance?
Они должны были и могут лучше выступать. Видимо, команда была слабее, вы поставили на эти игры. Но я надеюсь, что еще лучше и лучше. Но я очень рада за американскую гимнастику.
Soviet team could have done better, of course, but nevertheless they did a great job. I'm very happy with American performance. It's great for a very young team.
Thank you both very much for a wonderful evening. We've had over 2 hours together. It's been great spending the time with you, with Olga Korbut and Nadia Comaneci, and our translator for Olga, Vika Farahan, now of Indianapolis, formerly of Minsk. Thank you all very, very much. In a second, we're now going to the eastern part of Washington, to Spokane. Steve Large starting women's gymnastics last